Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and in today's video we're going to be doing a soak off. My client had this set on since May 24th. I did this set on her, so it's been a little minute, and I'm going to remove the entire set. And no, I do not at all recommend that you keep your toes on this long. I always say at least about 3 weeks or no more than a month to get your toenails removed. We in July, so you know people gonna do what they want at the end of the day, but if you're not doing what they have to do when it comes down to their toes, which is keeping up the maintenance, you cannot blame the nail tech. So what I'm gonna be doing here is just taking my coarse bit and I'm gonna remove all that acrylic. I'm gonna drill it down as thin as possible so that way my soak off process be a lot quicker. So one of my #1 reasons why I do not recommend you keep your acrylic on that long is because when it comes down to your acrylic, after a while it's going to start to lift eventually, and you cannot have it on so long. And then remember, it grows out. Even though I do it as an overlay, your acrylic toes is still gonna grow out. So it's best to make sure once you see the toenail is starting to lift, to remove them, soak them off, or I don't recommend that you rip your toenails off, but make sure you soaking them off. If you see your toenails starting to lift, please, I'm gonna say it again, go do a soak off, because look at how long she had her toenails on and look how much of the nail is already lifted. All that I'm clipping with the cuticle nippers are lifted. The nail bits are, the acrylic is lifted. So once I'm done, I'm gonna go ahead and start doing my soak off processes, taking these little clips and then putting a cotton ball with acetone, and then I just place it on her toenails, and then I let it sit for about 15 minutes. Now, remember what I said, you want to make sure you drill the nail down as thin as possible so your soak off doesn't take a long time. For me, that big toe still had too much acrylic, so I do go back with the drill and remove it to make it be a little bit more thinner. But when you're doing this, you have to be careful because you do not want to drill your client natural nail bit. So now I'm gonna go ahead and take my sanding band and remove all the shine off the natural nail plate, and then I'm gonna just remove any of that extra acrylic that's on the toenails. When I'm doing this, it may look like I'm doing it hard, but I'm really not. I'm on the lowest speed, and the only reason why it looks like I'm putting in a lot of pressure and going super fast is because I have sped up the video. So one of the #1 things is you want to make sure you're removing all that dust off the nails because you don't want any lifting. So I go ahead and use my young nail swipe and just clean off the nails. And then I make sure, super important, is I clean underneath my client toenails. I don't know how people put acrylic on top of their toenails and it doesn't look clean underneath, or it's just dirty. That's just nasty to me. So I always make sure I clean underneath my client toenails. You can do this in the beginning if they're doing a pedicure or whatever. I just make sure I do it. So now it's time for me to go ahead and apply that acrylic. So I'm only going to be doing acrylic on her big toe. She doesn't want to do acrylic on all toes again. And I'm going to apply that Young Nail Protein Bond. And then I'm going to be using my Young Nail Speed Clear acrylic. And I just go in with that first bead. I try to stretch that bead out as much as possible. And when it comes down to placing that bead down, when I'm doing the stretching, I don't want the acrylic to rip So you don't want to put a lot of pressure on the bead. You just kind of like pat and pull. And also, when I'm doing this, I work with my bead more so on the dry side than runny, because on the drier side, you're able to move the acrylic the way you want to move it, but then you don't want it to be super dry where it's just stiff. So you got to know how to pick up your acrylic beads when it's too wet or when it's too dry. That's super, super important when it comes down to doing acrylic toes. Okay, so now I'm gonna go ahead and apply the base coat. You're gonna be doing a thin layer of base coat. Place it in the lamp for 60 seconds to fully dry. And then you're gonna go ahead and apply your gel polish, whatever color you're gonna be using. So I'm gonna be using the Melody Susie gel polish, and this white gel polish is one of my favorite whites. I found a good white gel polish. It's not runny. I literally have one coat, and you're done. It's full coverage, and then you know how some gel polishes that when it comes down to doing white, you have to keep on doing it more than one time. This is full coverage. Literally, I covered the entire toenails. But what I can say is it's best to use it and then cure it in the lamp for 90 seconds just to make sure that it's fully dry. And also because it is a one coat gel polish, the coat of the gel polish itself is pretty much thicker, like it's on a thicker side. So the gel polish is thick, but it's not super thick where it's like clumpy. You know how some gel polishes is thick and it then becomes clumpy? This is not it at all. I really would like for you guys to give this a try. I got this from Amazon. I do have it on my Amazon storefront. And it's the white, and it comes with white and black. It's literally only two polishes, and I love it. Please remember to clean up the gel polish if you get it on the skin with alcohol or acetone, whichever one works better for you, with a cleanup brush, because you do not want your client to go ahead and cure their toenails and all that gel polish is on their skin. So now I'm going to go ahead and top coat the nails and then cure it in the lamp for 60 seconds. One of my last and most important step is after I'm done, I go ahead and reshape the nails just to give it a nice clean look. I hate when the nail doesn't really look square, and the fact that she doesn't have acrylic on all the rest of her toes, which she didn't necessarily need it, because as you can see, her toenails, the acrylic has grown out her natural nail beds. So the only one that was super short was that big toe. So I always make sure I give it a nice square shape at the end. So this is the final look. We are all done. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and don't forget to leave a comment. Bye.